A cruise missile was shot down over Ohmedit Children's Hospital in Kyiv. The shelling damaged the windows and almost broke out the doors. The hospital's press service reports that doctors continue doing surgeries, performing dialysis, and maintaining patriotic spirit. Due to constant shelling of Russian occupiers last night, 2 seriously injured children could not be brought to the hospital. They died. 2 people killed and many injured. Today, Russian occupiers fired on residential buildings in the city of Kramatorsk. A number of houses on Kramatorsk Boulevard were hit. Police and doctors are currently on spot. Experts have not yet established the kind of weapons used. Presumably, it was a cruise missile. Kramatorsk Mayor Alexander Honcharenko called on the international community to close the skies over Ukraine. 34 hospitals in Ukraine have already been shut down because of Russian shelling. Viktor Lashko, Minister of Health of Ukraine, has stated that some buildings are completely destroyed and some are left without water and electricity. He has also highlighted that this is another violation of the Geneva Convention, as medical workers and hospitals should not be involved in the military conflicts. Because of the shelling, doctors are unable to provide adults or children with medical aid on time. Since the invasion of the occupiers in Ukraine, 38 children died and 71 have been injured. Shots at a peaceful protest. In the city of Nova Kakhovka, the occupiers dispersed people carrying flags with machine gun bursts. But despite the risk of death, people in the temporarily occupied Ukrainian cities go to peaceful rallies and demonstrations. In 3 other cities in Kherson region, Heniches, Kakhovka and Novoalexeyevka, thousands of people with posters and flags came out to show Russian soldiers that no one had invited them to Ukraine. In Novoalexeyevka, among protesters, there were many Crimean Tatars who demanded the Russians to leave the Crimean Peninsula, the Tatars' homeland. More than 140,000 Ukrainians have returned from abroad since the Russian invasion began. 80% of them are men who are ready to defend their homeland. At the same time, more than 1.5 million refugees have already crossed Ukraine's borders. People are fleeing from Russian soldiers and shelling of peaceful cities.
Europe is on the brim of a new nuclear catastrophe. This is Enerhodar city in Ukraine. The largest in Europe nuclear power plant is located here. Unarmed residents of the city came out to prevent the Russian occupiers from seizing the nuclear power plant. They understand that any damage to the plant will cause an environmental catastrophe, the next Chernobyl or Fukushima. It is no longer a Ukrainian issue. It is a possible threat for the whole of Europe and even the world. For the first time in war history, the Russian army has deliberately attacked a nuclear power plant. It is definitely an act of state terrorism. Even if the concrete walls of the plant will deter the impact, its transformers and turbines are defenseless against mortars and tanks. If they are damaged, there will be a leak of a radiation cloud, and only the wind knows where this cloud goes. Ukrainians defend their land courageously, but their strength is limited. The Russian army acts like terrorists, shelling hospitals, maternity wards, kindergartens, and civil neighborhoods. Putin's army will stop at nothing, even if it means a nuclear disaster. We live in a global world. There are no walls of sanctions or money that will protect you from this disaster. The larger ecosystem of the region covers not only the Black Sea and multiple rivers that run through Ukraine, but also dozens of European countries that are less than 1,000 kilometers away. The outcomes of the possible tragedy will be catastrophic. They will last for decades and cost trillions of euros to overcome. While every Ukrainian is defending Europe with their bare hands from Putin's evil intentions, what does the world do? Europe and Ukraine's allies must act as decisively as the Ukrainian people. Protecting and closing the Ukrainian sky is the #1 task to avoid this catastrophe, because radiation has no nationality and stops at no borders.